Well, hello everybody. It's great to be here representing HART as we have another interview with one of our very special partners. We're speaking today to Vardan, who is director of the Lady Cox Rehabilitation Centre in Stepanakert, which is the capital of Artsakh, Nagorno Karabakh, and it's been a long-standing partner of HART and founded by Baroness Cox. Vardan, it's lovely to have you with us, and it's great to be here as we hear more about the work of the Lady Cox Rehabilitation Centre and your work and what you've been doing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me with you. And
yes, so tell us a little bit about the main focuses of the work of the centre at the moment that you've been doing, particularly over the last few months, and actually about the centre. It's the first broadcast. So tell us a little bit about the centre, and then about the main focuses at the moment.
Well, the Lady Cox Rehabilitation Centre is already, in a couple of weeks later, will be 22 years old. It was founded by Baroness Cox in 1998. And the main focus to give rehabilitation treatment and possibilities to reintegrate people with disabilities. In the beginning, we started our project for people who got injured and got a disability because of the war, the conflict with Azerbaijan. We had few thousand people who got injured during this conflict. But of course, civilians, as the rest of the world, as everywhere, civilians have their own population who has disabilities, children, adults, elderly. So we, since 2003, we started more to focus also for children and for the adults, and we have big number of elderly people who needs rehabilitation. So we have a team these days. Our team is around 65 people. Half of them are medical, and we provide our people with disabilities rehabilitation therapy, which is physical therapy, occupational therapy, psychology services, the special educators services for children with autistic syndromes. And also we have speech therapists, sport activity specialists, and many other things that we do, like art therapy, and of course we're trying to even develop disabled sport in our country.
Wow.
For all of these activities, we need the professionals, not the people who are just enthusiasts to do. We do our best to educate them, to give a good educational background to do such kind of activities. That's why, with the support of HART, in a 22 years time, we organized 4 times educational program for our rehabilitation therapies. This kind of education takes whole year, 52 weeks, 5 days each week, to make the with medical background specialists, to make them qualified for physical therapy and occupational therapy. We are very lucky. We have the full number of specialists. We are happy to have them, and these are people who are really motivated to do their best for people with disabilities. Unfortunately, because our center is only one yet, and hopefully in the future maybe will be other rehabilitation services in this country, but we still the only one, and that's why we give rehabilitation services for everyone, for babies till 1 year old, if they have any problems or difficulties in developing, children, adults, elderly, and everyone comes to us. And we were happy that a few years ago we were open a few departments in regions where we provide education for the specialists comes from the regions. They stayed in our rehabilitation center 50 and they got education and qualified to be a rehabilitation therapist and to be back to their regions and to provide rehabilitation services. So this helps us to spread our services to the other regions.
It's really amazing. I mean, the reaction in the country to have that center providing unique service. I mean, did you find that was really appreciated in the country? It must have been.
Yeah, we are lucky that the authorities respect what we do, and of course we collaborating with the local health ministry, and we getting support from the state to do all our services. But unfortunately, as any kind of medical center, we also need additional support to do all our activities. Especially in home visit project that we have around 160 people in heavy disabilities that they are stuck at home and they totally depend from us. We give them medical supplies like catheters, urine bags, pressure mattresses, wheelchairs, and all these kind of materials like diapers, and giving them family education to understand the family, the situation with their family member that they have and how they can help him or to prevent any other further problems that it can arise. The number, of course, are bigger than 160, but our possibilities also are limited. Every year in total, we were able to treat the maximum. Till now, we are able to treat each year 1,000 people with different kind of disabilities. Incredible. And the number is much higher, but our facilities is, as I mentioned, is really very limited. But 1,000 is maybe not too big, but not too little. Right. So we are open to everyone if they are able to wait a little bit, because waiting list for our services also high. Happy to treat everyone who needs us. And also we trying to do our best with the youth, young patients with disabilities, young people, to be reintegrated back to the community. Most of them never been in outside. Some of the children, it's a stigma to be outside having disabilities. Right. So being in a rehabilitation center, our goal is to work with this stigma, and they are easily or sometimes not easy, but finally they are integrating with the community from where they come. For that we do a lot of other activities like taking them public places, having the public meetings with the same age people in the public places, taking them to the sport activities or the sport competitions, to do everything that doing the others without disabilities.
That's amazing.
And of course, the community also needs to be changed to be able to see that in a community they have such kind of people. Especially in the Soviet time where I grew up, I never used to see anyone with disabilities. I saw the first time wheelchair or crutches when I started my career 30 years ago with my education. But these days are changed a lot in my country too, and you can see outside many people with disabilities, rehabilitation centers, medical employees understanding about disability, and they do their best for disabled people. And I'm more than sure that in the next 30 years, things totally will be revolutionary, will be changed here. And here will be people who have disabilities, they will be as same integrated as in the West countries. Perhaps this is the things that you can do many things, and still a lot of things you should do, even in
Slight hiccup there.
United States. No one can tell that everything because you're okay. Now it's I can see that we can see each
Come
other.
back. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what do you see are what's the main challenges for you now? I mean, tremendously inspiring work actually you're doing there, and obviously initiating great change in the country. But what's the main challenges for you right now? And also, as another question on that, how's COVID affecting the work at the moment?
Well, of course, this COVID affect to the all of the world, including in my country. It's it's difficult to say. We comparing with the rest of the world, in the community where I live, the cases are not too many, but we also were locked down a few months ago, and our rehabilitation services totally were stopped, our activities with our patients. More than 1 month, we totally stopped our activities. And this does mean the waiting list is much bigger now. Since June, we do our best to do our work without anyone will go to vacation, because we decided to have all our 2020 vacation to use for the lockdown time. So we are now working very intensively till end of the year to bring down our waiting list for the people who are waiting for the treatment. Of course, many patients are afraid to go out to come for the treatment, but they are really in need. In many cases, our specialist has to go to see them at home to provide them some services, especially for the people who are really have high disabilities. So we go to see them at home, our specialist. But of course, it's not easy to work with the masks and to keep all the time the rules for the keeping everything is sterile, clean, keeping the social distance. Sometimes it's not possible, and of course we are very carefully with for our patients because our work with them, you need to contact with them. You know, especially when you do therapy, you need to contact. But thanks God, we didn't have any cases in our clinic yet, and hopefully won't be in the future.
Yeah, yeah. The one theme that's running through this month for HART, you know, the world is in such a chaotic state with conflicts all over the Middle East and all over the place, all over the region, and COVID all over the world, and economic crises and all that. And one of the themes that we're focusing on is hope amidst crises, and the work that you do. I mean, you must see so much, so many examples of hope amidst difficult struggles. Have you got any sort of illustrations of that? How the centre is an example of hope, and how the people you work with, both the staff and the patients, are symbols of hope in situations of difficulty.
Well, our center is all the time in his short history, perhaps 22 years, we were the place for the hope for the people who comes to us. And it's really was like that, because most of the patients years ago, not these days, because these days our center is quite known in a country. People were coming without any hope for the future, without any smiling. They were really depressed. But being in our center, they got really cheered up, because in a short time they found that their physical disability becomes ability for them to do the activities that they never done before, or long time they didn't done. And of course, our staff is really very motivated to their work. Our nurses, therapists, the doctors, and all the specialists, like speech therapists, occupational therapists. And people really like to come to us, not only for the treatment, also to see their relatives' achievements, their family member who has disability, to see their achievements. And these people, when they go back to the home, they really wanted to be back again when they have again chance. And really, our center give them hope for physically that they will be able to be back to the community, to be integrated with their community. But also we give them hope for life, for love, to be together. It doesn't matter who is able, who is not disabled. We all are like brothers and sisters, and we have to be together. And this is not easy for us, because many years, it comes from the Soviet time, the communities, the country, the people, they didn't know about disabled people. Actually, disabled people were uh, uh, kept out from the community in special institutions, like in internats or in a disabled house. So the country only takes care to give them food and the needs that they need, without taking any activities to be bring back to the community these people. Our center really doing a lot of activities for that, and this gives a really big hope for the people who have disabilities, who got disabled recently, or born with disabilities, that they are human as others, and they have their rights and their not only, I always telling to my patient, you have your rights and also obligations. Don't forget about obligations, because everyone has in front of the community their rights and their obligations. So we have many cases that the people really change their depressed mood to the cheered up and look to the future with big hope and with big optimism.
I think it was a huge privilege for me to visit your centre last year. And one of the key impressions that I came away with was the sense of real joy and love, both in the staff and in the patients. And the sense of joy amongst the patients of everything that they were doing, even amidst their disability. And the perseverance and the effort that they make to make the improvements, and the sheer dedication, total dedication of the staff of the centre as well. And that atmosphere pervades the centre, doesn't it?
Yeah, thank you that you telling about this. The staff is really very important to do the work such we do here with people with disabilities. That's why we are really very carefully choosing people who trying to work for us. They have to understand what kind of work they're going to do, and they have to be really very motivated. And of course, we give them really good education to understand the work and to be qualified to do the work that they need to do.
Yeah, that's right. How has HART helped you achieve what you have achieved, and the goals that you've achieved so far, and what's the goals that you would like to achieve further?
Well, HART did a lot of things for our rehabilitation center. First of all, HART founded this center and continuously support for our activities is really revolutionary, change the quality when HART is supporting, because all our activities without HART support, it's really will be totally different and with less quality. I really appreciate to HART and supporters to HART to support us for all the changes that we're doing every year, because this work is not only 1 year, this is continuous work that we have doing, and continuously we have to develop all our activities. Training staff, giving activities for the staff with patients, and many other things, and also to developing to the centers, our facilities for our patients and for the people who coming with different kind of disabilities. I just can say thank you and invite everyone who's supporting HART really to come to my country to see my country and to see the work that we're doing. And you know, many people telling this center can be example for many other countries, and I'm really very happy for this mark that I hear, because with the small number, with the 65 employees to treat 1,000 heavy disabled people, this is really great achievement. And start this kind of work when in a country, no one before these centers appeared, no one didn't know about rehabilitation services. Even the medical, the doctors, they didn't know about. But hopefully this center won't be only one, and in the future we will have many other centers around.
Yes, you've already mentioned.
In Armenia, when I visit every time to Armenia, I work in a rehabilitation center in Armenia where it was the only one, but now are many these days.
Yeah. And you've mentioned already that you're reaching into remoter areas already in Artsakh and aren't you?
Yes, and with support of HART, we again a few years ago we organized educational program, and HART supported, other organizations support, because this was really very essential to have to decentralize rehabilitation services to the remote areas. Look, 1,000 people is not the whole number who having disabilities. We have more than 10,000 people who have disabilities and needs rehabilitation services. But our facilities are limited and our staff are limited. And we decided to develop, to start in remote regions in their hospitals to open rehabilitation departments, where the people from the far regions can visit to their own rehab departments to get the treatment. Of course, in heavy cases, they're still coming to us. We are happy to give them our best. But it was a big achievement a few years ago to have in a few regions, in the Hadrut region, in Martuni region, Artsakh region, these three places, these services that the people can go close to their home, close to their family and their community to have such services.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Vardan, and we really appreciate your time and all that you're doing. Please give our love to all your staff at the centre and to all the patients there as well. And I'm sure the supporters as well send their love to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this chance, and I'm really very appreciate for your interest to know what we do these days. And this thanks comes from my staff and my patients. And also you can have from our Facebook page, Lady Cox Rehabilitation Centre. It's almost every day updated with the new pictures. Sorry for this. And you can see all our activities through the Facebook.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. That's a good.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to you.
Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. God bless.